just bringing up his 50 on 51. And here's interesting to see Ian Botham bowling again, Henry.
Well, he's been around a long time. 380 test wickets he's taken, and he'll be keen to get that 400 if he can. And he knows where to bowl. He's still a great competitor too.
Yes, he is, doesn't he? He's a lucky sort of a bowler too. That's not detracting from his skill, but I've seen a number of rather dubious sort of deliveries pick up rather lucky wickets.
He has a knack of taking wickets, and of course these two know each other not just through England-New Zealand test matches, but John Wright played for many years for Derbyshire while Ian Botham was at Somerset and then Worcestershire. So they'll both know a thing or two about each other, and it'll be an intriguing contest.
Yes,
and Botham putting the pressure on now. We've got 4 men round the bat, 5 including the keeper.
And clipping it away, John Wright. Very comfortable single. Lawrence coming in off the long leg boundary there. So the right-handed Andrew Jones. Well, this interesting, most test wickets. Well, Kapil Devi's just brought up his 400, hasn't he? And Ian Botham's number 3.
Yes, 380, and of course Richard Hadley at the top. Fred Truman, who the first one passed 300 with 307, doesn't fit on to the bottom of the board, does he? You know?
He'd be most upset about that. It's a bit like leaving Geoffrey Boycott off the batting lineup, isn't it?
Well, yes, mind you, if Fred had played the number of test matches they played today, he'd have been quite a lot higher up that list. Although Fred himself would tell you that he'd have been the first to 500. That may or may not.
I'm sure he would be, yes. But this man, Ian Botham, a good deal solider than he was in the early days. And fullish, but too wide. So that's the end of the over, 98 for 1. Well, there we are, up in the back of the old stand. Seems quite a long way away from the cricket, doesn't it? Loud appeal from Botham, joined by Jack Russell in the slips. There was only one slip, but in the end, no response.
Forward, I think that was probably what saved him, coming onto the front foot. But let's have a look at it again. Yes, he's a long way forward, isn't he?
Yeah, it's...
I mean, he really is, because he's standing with his back foot outside the crease. So, I mean, he's, what, 8 feet, good 8 feet forward.
Wasn't a bad shout,
no.
But that had to go in favour of the batsman. Just got a bit of bat on that one.
Just, wasn't it? It was good Yorker, wasn't it?
Yes, it was well bowled. And just pushing that one up, Ian Botham. This probably would have gone down leg side, though.
What are we going to have now? Short one, caught long leg, what do you think?
I don't know, he's keeping the pressure on, isn't he? The 2 men in close. That's a good ploy.
Well,
he's got that man way down deep behind square, and also another one a little closer, but still behind square.
It's nice to see Jack Russell standing close, and he's gone up there, I think, to bring John Wright back, hasn't he? Yes. So he won't be able to get quite so far forward next time. Good tactical stuff going on.
Yeah, there is. There's plenty of changes, aren't there? They're keeping the field moving, the ideas going.
Trying to bit of kidology, perhaps, and also just trying to create pressure when really there isn't too much, or shouldn't be too much.
Loud appeal again.
Another good ball. I dare say in his mischievous youth, Ian Botham might have said something then, instead of just pursing his lips. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Actually straightened up a bit, didn't it? But again, that had to go in favour of the batsman.
Oh, yes. Bad luck, I think.
That was a big shout.
He's a big man.
Oh, just a little bit toey, John Wright, looking for room that wasn't really there.
It's good over this, isn't it? It's the best one Botham's bowled.
Oh, without doubt. Goodness me, that wasn't a bad performance, was it? 8 for 34.
I remember that very well. He got 100 in the same match, I think, didn't he?
He hogged the whole game, Henry. And that's well bowled again.
Well, that was a beautiful over.
Very good over indeed from Ian Botham, showing experience and skill there. 99 for 1.
Tonight.
Prevents the single. It's good over though so far from Graham Hick.
Yes, suddenly these last 2 overs have slightly sort of changed the balance a bit, haven't they? I mean, it's just changed the emphasis of the game.
Oh, that was a good ball, and that's beaten everybody.
We'll
Let's
have to wait and see whether that was buys or runs.
It's brought up the 100, whatever it was, it's buys. Didn't hit anything on the way through, says umpire Steve Dunn, and that ends the over. 103 for 1.
Cassette and compact disc.
Well, we got a bit confused there. It's actually 100 for 1. That buy brought up the 100. I think our scoreboard thought it was a 4.
I'll tell you something, that over must have actually made New Zealand shiver just a little bit. They got a bat last in this game. There was uneven bounce, there was turn, and then suddenly there was a bit of lift.
Yes, there was.
I mean,
that last ball was turned viciously.
Yeah. It's fascinating cricket. It's been a marvellous battle. These two really have done a grand job for New Zealand. Jones 51, Wright 41, the old soldier, or the oldest soldier, and England trying everything they can. But just suddenly we had a very good over from both of them, and followed by a pretty good one too from Graham Hick from the southern end, and these batsmen are now once again hanging on.
Well, it's another big appeal.
He was a long way forward.
But as you say, Henry, these 2 bowlers flicking the field round, trying a few different things, and the game is starting to take a bit of a different look about it.
Yes, I mean, it was never going to be out that, but if I'd been the bowler, I would have shouted.
Oh, too right. I think anyone would have.
No, it's not too right. It was Jones facing him, actually.
Henry, you're so right. Just face the front, pay attention. So 2 slips for Ian Botham, and that was a very good over, the last one that he bowled. And then Graham Hick came in, and some alarming turn there. That was the first over he's actually bowled from the southern end. So maybe there's a bit more turn bowling from that end. So a fascinating day. Not a lot of runs here. Really, England seemed to muck around a lot this morning. Dermot Reeve was in for what seemed an age, for around about 18. And Ian Botham had a little flurry, but it didn't go on. And then the thing fell away. So New Zealand did well there, but it's been a battle for the batsmen.
Yes, and now again, the bowlers are just ending the day more in control than they were an hour or so ago, when runs were coming quite easily. And it is a fascinating contest. We've got 3 days left, and I think we're going to be in for some very exciting cricket.
Oh, I think so. This is going to be a real battle. Might be a bit of a war of attrition at times. But one wonders, we saw a similar partnership in Christchurch, didn't we? And then things fell away, but who knows? That's the end of the over. 100 for 1.
Jack Russell. What sort of effect does that have on the batsman, all that little banter that goes on?
Depends how well you played. If you're playing as well as John Wright, it shouldn't have any, because he's played splendidly. But if you're a little tentative...
He's got runs this time. Away down towards third man. He's got 2, and they might look for the 3rd run, and Jones is coming quickly, and that is the 100 partnership between John Wright and Andrew Jones, and applause all rounds as the over comes to an end at 103 for 1.
Well, for England, and just got a little bit tired. I don't think he got a particularly special ball last night, but just a bit tired, he missed it. So John Wright's got to hold his concentration together. In fact, if New Zealand get through this last session without losing a wicket, they've had an absolutely splendid day. I mean, it's really been New Zealand's day. Might seem slow to some people, but it really has been absorbing cut and thrust cricket, and I think New Zealand coming out on top this second day.
Yes, well, England lost their last 5 wickets this morning for 66 runs to be all out for 305. And now Wright and Jones with that 100 partnership, which has come up in 7 minutes short of 3 hours.
How was that?
Tufnell coming round the wicket now. And the batsman should get a run here. They're a bit slow to get started. It was all in slow motion, really. And it was a leg by. Well, they all count. New Zealand 104 for 1. Most important 10 minutes here till stumps. I'd imagine Andrew Jones's job for the day is almost over. John Wright still has a little bit of work to do. One ball remaining on the second day's play of this match. England all out today for 305 and New Zealand 104 for 1. And it's Hick bowling to Wright. And he sees it out okay, so that ends a very satisfactory day from New Zealand's point of view here at the Basin Reserve on the second day of this third bank of New Zealand Test match. And a playful pat on the helmet from Ian Botham to John Wright. Good effort too from Andrew Jones. And after dismissing England for 305 today, New Zealand have gone to stumps at 104 for 1, with Blair Hartland the only batsman out for 2. And a partnership unbroken so far of 101 between Andrew Jones and John Wright.
Would be helpful if you could tender the correct money when you come. I hope you enjoyed making New Zealand cricket today.
England today going on from 239 for 5 to be all out for 305. The batsmen out today were Lawrence, Reeve, Botham, Russell and De Freitas. England all out for 305, and it took just until the third over after lunch for New Zealand to finally dismiss the England lineup. Here's the New Zealand bowling figures. Danny Morrison came back well today to get 2 wickets at the end and finished with the very impressive figures of 3 for 44. And Chris Cairns took 1 wicket today, 1 for 89. Murphy Seward took 2 very well-deserved wickets, 2 for 62. And Deepak Patel didn't add to his haul from yesterday. New Zealand in reply at stumps on day 2 here at the Basin Reserve, 104 for 1. Blair Hartland, the only man to have been dismissed. John Wright and Andrew Jones have added 101 runs so far for the second wicket. And let's look finally at the England bowling performances so far. Phil De Freitas hasn't had too much work, none for 12. He's been a little bit bothered by an injury today. David Lawrence has taken the only wicket. There have been long spells from Tufnell and from Hick, the spin bowlers. And Ian Botham also had 5 overs of bowling of his medium paces. All right, let's now get their thoughts at the end of the second day's play from John Morrison and Geoffrey Boycott. Geoffrey, the New Zealanders today have worked themselves into a good position.
You're talking to Geoffrey, aren't you?
I'm talking to you.
Well, I'm glad to tell you I'm John. Actually, I think it's been a good day for New Zealand. England didn't really go anywhere this morning. They stuttered and took a long time getting nowhere. And New Zealand batted well on a pitch that could have caused them problems. It may still cause them problems, but they've done well to get through to where they are. So a good day all in all for New Zealand.
What did you think, Geoffrey? Would you have expected England to have scored slightly more than that?
You can't really expect anything in Test cricket. That's the beauty of it. And on this sort of surface, I think things can happen very quickly, and then you can have long spells where 2 batsmen get in, are very watchful of the bowling, and bat well. I thought it was New Zealand's day, no question. They polished off England. We were saying last night, if England only got 300, New Zealand would have a good day, and they batted well. I think it's just purely been New Zealand's day. Full marks to them, full credit. I thought Jones batted absolutely splendidly, and John Wright supported him well.
What about the threat of the specialist spinner in the side, Tufnell?
I thought he bowled well. I thought I didn't see him bowl badly. He spun the ball, he bowled the line, he didn't bowl long hops, he didn't bowl full tosses. Sometimes you just have to put your hand up and say, listen, they batted really well. Full marks to them. Tomorrow they might come in and get out first over. That's the beauty of the game. I think I just said on commentary there with Grant that England were 159 for 1 and all out 305. That could just happen to New Zealand.
Interesting to bring that up. John, a word about the New Zealand bowling today. Murphy Sewer got those 2 wickets, certainly well-deserved as far as he was concerned.
Yes, well, he was pretty stiff yesterday, wasn't he? He had those catches dropped. Excuse me. But he did very well, and I thought it was a very good performance. And when you consider that Willie Watson wasn't playing and he had to do the donkey work, I think the overall performance from him was excellent. And Deepak Patel bowled pretty well. He had a few overs yesterday where he got hammered around. But all in all, New Zealand lifted their game this morning, and as Jeffrey said, and I do agree with him for a change, it was a good day.
All right, John and Jeff, for the moment, thanks very much. So New Zealand 104 for 1 at the end of day 2 here at the Basin Reserve, with England all out for 305. So this test match is nicely poised with 3 days to play, and we look forward to some good cricket over the weekend and some good weather over the weekend too. Stay with us here on One World of Sport through until 6 o'clock as we look back on this test match so far, and we'll be talking to some interesting guests as well. Back in a moment.